Electric cars, or EVs as they like to be called, are being touted as the future of motoring. They promise a cleaner, greener and more sustainable way to travel, reducing our carbon footprint and reliance on fossil fuels. But there's a rather large elephant in the room size problem that nobody seems to be talking about. They're jolly expensive. The price tags on these vehicles can be quite shocking, to say the least. That's right. These supposed saviors of our planet come with a price tag that would make even a used car salesman blush. The cost difference between an EV and a traditional petrol car is often staggering. You see, for the price of a shiny new EV, you could have your pick of several perfectly decent petrol cars and maybe even a weekend away. It's a tough choice for many consumers who are budget conscious. So why the shocking difference? What makes these electric vehicles so much more expensive than their petrol counterparts? Well, let's delve into the reasons behind this electric price hike, shall we? It's a combination of factors that contribute to the high costs. It's not just about fancy batteries and silent engines. There's a whole lot more to it than meets the eye. The technology and materials used in EVs are cutting edge and often expensive. From the materials used to the technology involved, we'll uncover the truth about why EVs are so heavy on your wallet. The production process is complex and resource-intensive. And trust me, you might want to sit down for this. The reasons behind the high costs are more intricate than you might think. Let's talk about batteries, those big, expensive lumps of technology that power these electric contraptions. They are the heart and soul of electric vehicles, providing the necessary juice to get you from point A to point B without a drop of gasoline. Now, these batteries aren't your average AA batteries. Oh no, they're massive, sophisticated and far more powerful than anything you'd find in your TV remote or flashlight. They're packed full of rare and expensive materials like lithium, cobalt and nickel. These elements are crucial for the battery's performance, longevity and efficiency. And let me tell you, getting your hands on these materials is no easy feat. It involves extensive mining operations that span across the globe from South America to Africa and beyond. It involves digging up vast swathes of land, which, as you can imagine, isn't exactly good for the environment. The environmental impact is significant, leading to deforestation, loss of biodiversity, and other ecological issues. But more on that later. For now, let's focus on the cost implications. The process of actually making these batteries is another costly affair. It's not just about assembling parts, it's about precision engineering and advanced technology. It's a complex and delicate procedure that requires specialist equipment and a lot of energy. The factories are filled with high-tech machinery and skilled workers, all contributing to the final price tag. All of this adds up, and guess who ends up footing the bill? That's right, the consumer. The costs trickle down to the end user, making electric vehicles a pricey investment. You guessed it, the poor soul who wants to be seen driving an electric car. The sticker shock can be quite real when you see the price tag. So before you rush out to buy that shiny new EV, remember this: the battery alone is a significant chunk of the cost. It's an investment in technology, but one that comes with a hefty price. Now you might be thinking, but James, surely as EVs become more popular, the price will come down. Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But sadly, it's not quite that simple. You see, the EV industry is still in its infancy, which means production is nowhere near the scale of traditional petrol cars. And until those numbers ramp up, the cost of producing each EV remains stubbornly high. It's all about economies of scale, old boy. When you're churning out millions of something, the cost per unit goes down. But when you're only making a handful, well, those costs have to be spread out over fewer units. So, until EVs are as common as a rainy day in Britain, don't expect the price to drop significantly. Section 4, the environmental costs of going green. Now, I'm all for saving the planet, but let's not pretend that EVs are some kind of environmental silver bullet. They have their own set of challenges and issues that we need to address. Remember those batteries we talked about, the ones that are essential for the functioning of electric vehicles, the ones that cost a king's ransom? Yes, those very same batteries. Well, they don't exactly grow on trees, you know. The materials needed for these batteries are mined from the earth. Mining for those precious materials has a significant environmental impact. It's not a small-scale operation. We're talking deforestation, habitat destruction, and even toxic waste. The consequences are far-reaching. Not exactly a walk in the park, is it? The environmental costs are substantial. And then there's the question of electricity generation. How clean is the energy that powers your EV? Sure, your EV might not have an exhaust pipe, but that doesn't mean it's emissions-free. The source of the electricity matters. If the electricity powering your car comes from a coal-fired power plant, well, you're not really doing much for the environment, are you? In fact, you might be contributing to pollution. In fact, you might even be making things worse. It's a complex issue that requires a holistic approach to truly make a positive impact. Section 5, the logic of sticking with petrol. So there you have it. EVs are expensive, the batteries are a nightmare, and they might not even be that good for the environment. So what's the solution? Well, in my humble opinion, we should stick with what we know: petrol and diesel engines. They've served us well for over a century, and they're still the most practical and affordable option for most people. We need to be realistic about the limitations of EVs. The technology isn't there yet, the infrastructure is lacking, and the cost is simply too high. Instead of pouring all our resources into this electric dream, why don't we focus on making petrol and diesel engines cleaner and more efficient? Now, that's an idea I can get behind, yet.